7 failed films that became great classics. Cinema is an industry full of risks and surprises, where initial success doesn't always determine a film's long-term impact. Some of today's greatest classics like Blade Runner and Dune were failures at their release, only to become icons over the years. Explore how public perception changes and what makes films enduring, even if initially overlooked. Discover how forgotten works became legends and reflect on whether we're missing the next classic. Comment 2 films you initially disliked but later appreciated. Let's discover how works that seemed doomed to oblivion became true legends, and let's reflect on whether we are missing out on the next great cinema classic. Before we start, you already know, comment down below 2 films that you watched for the first time, didn't like much, and then revisited and ended up liking more. Let's make a list here in the comments. Who knows, I might record a part 2 of this video. Agreed. Let's talk. Don't forget to like and share the link to this video in your WhatsApp and Telegram groups, so that the people you care about can stay updated on this topic. Agreed. Let's continue. Seventh place, The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, directed by Frank Darabont. The Shawshank Redemption is one of those films that orders on perfection. In terms of cinematic qualities, it hits the mark in every aspect and does so with a unique mastery. The acting is excellent, dialogues are deep, and the story is beautifully crafted. The film manages to tackle various complex themes and weave them together brilliantly, which makes it so memorable. It currently holds the top spot on IMDb's list, the 250 best films, and for good reason. However, despite being a breathtaking work, it was a box office failure upon its release, which is surprising. Upon its release, it only made $16 million, or below its $25 million budget. This underwhelming performance is mainly due to lack of an effective marketing campaign. The film's premise at first glance didn't seem that appealing. After all, it was just about a man going to prison, but the true brilliance of A Dream of Freedom lies in what it manages to do within this limited context, creating something extremely touching and universal. Fortunately, over time, the film gained the recognition it deserved and established itself as one of Hollywood's greatest classics. Sixth place, Darko 2001, directed by Richard Kelly. This film faced many challenges. One of the main problems was the lack of a consistent marketing campaign, which significantly hurt its visibility. In addition, the film was released a month after the September 11th attacks, which was a sensitive time for a movie whose plot involves a plane crash. It's not hard to imagine why the audience didn't connect right away. The box office results were disappointing. Just $7.5 million, a budget of $4.5 million. The confusing timeline and the open ending also contributed to the initial negative reception. However, today, Donnie Darko is seen as a masterpiece of unique storytelling with intriguing fantasy elements. Despite its flaws, the film has iconic characteristics and an enigmatic atmosphere that few others can replicate. The Big Lebowski, 1998, directed by Ethan and Joel Coen. The Big Lebowski, when released in 1998, at the time seemed to be ahead of its time. It didn't understand the irreverent humor, the eccentric dialogues, and the common plot. The film initially received mixed reviews and was somewhat overlooked, yet its quotes, style, and humor eventually made it a pop culture icon. The reviews were mixed, and the film went a bit unnoticed. However, over time, the legendary quotes, the stylish outfits, and the meticulous humor made The Big Lebowski a pop culture landmark. Today, it's hard not to recognize how funny and well-crafted this film is, even in the smallest details. And despite the initial criticism, film stayed true to its essence, with the laid-back attitude of the dude. That's just like your opinion, man. Recently, Ethan Coen released Drive, Always Dolls in 2024, but the reactions were lukewarm. Fourth place, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, directed by Mel Stewart. Today it is a cinema icon, known for its peculiar and fantastical atmosphere. But at the time of its release, the film was a box office failure, With a budget of $3 million, it only managed to make $4 million, and this was largely due to the mediocre reviews and the lack of effective marketing. Moreover, the dark tone of the film, inspired by Howard Dow's work, made it hard for the child audience it was initially aimed at to accept it. Today, with several modern adaptations and even a prequel released in 2024 starring Timothée Chalamet, the original film continues to be remembered for its unique charm, something that the new versions have yet to fully replicate. Third place, The Iron Giant, 1999, directed by Brad Bird. This work is another example of an underrated film at its release, even though it is now recognized as one of the greatest animated films of all time. The film didn't receive the recognition it deserved for its quality when it hit theaters. With a budget of $50 million, it only made $31.3 million worldwide, which was a tough blow for the studio. Despite this, The Iron Giant stands out for its thematic depth and a touching story that still resonates with audiences today. Its 2D animation, beautiful visuals, and a heartbreaking ending made the film a classic of the genre. How can such an emotional movie be so misunderstood at the time? In second place, The Thing, 1982, directed by John Carpenter. The Thing is widely regarded as one of the greatest science fiction films ever made. But interestingly, it didn't have a good reception either at the box office or among critics. Some complicated conditions contributed to this initial failure. The film received an R rating, which greatly limited its audience. Moreover, the explicit violence ended up being seen as something that overshadowed the plot. And as if that wasn't enough, film's promotion was poorly planned, which hurt its ability to attract an audience. Over time, however, The Thing was rediscovered and finally recognized as one of John Carpenter's greatest and best works. In first place, The Shining, 1980, directed by Stanley Kubrick. It's another work that, despite its current fame, didn't have the expected impact at the box office. Although it wasn't a box office failure, its performance wasn't memorable either, grossing $45 million against a budget of $19 million. In addition, the film was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, including the category for Worst Director for Kubrick and Worst Actress for Shelley Duvall. Many of the criticisms focused on the film's length and the lack of character development. But over the years, The Shining has been recognized as one of Kubrick's greatest works, showing that the audience and critics don't always recognize the value of a piece right away. This video doesn't end now. It continues with us chatting in the comments. And remember that the list is in the video description. If you found this video interesting, share and subscribe.